Hello, my lovelies. I am Madam Crystal Butterfly, and today, my lovelies, I am going to be reading to all of you Chapter 4 from my book Curse of the Frog Prince, Part 1, in celebration of the up-and-coming release of my story Curse of the Frog Prince, Part 2. So, my lovelies, go quickly, get some snacks. That's right, stories are enjoyed with snacks, so go get some really quick. All right, you all have your snacks. Good. Now, sit back, relax, as I read to you Chapter 4. She had put the letter opener down as he pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and handed it to her. The princess pressed it against her neck to stop the bleeding. The king then extended his hand to her. When she took it, he pulled her up as he quickly grabbed her waist. He then pulled her face close to him and began kissing her deeply, placing his tongue in her mouth. Her right hand gripped her small sword, fighting the urge to avenge her father by plunging it into his neck over and over again. She pretended to be slightly, reluctantly pleased. He smiled, and Ofori then did something that surprised her. He called his soldiers back into the room, ordered 2 of the lower-ranked men to build a large fire in the large stone fireplace located in the center of the room. The men gathered wood, built a fire. Then, out of nowhere, several of my servants, escorted by the soldiers, arrived with my shoes. Ofori bent down on one knee and removed the shoes on my feet. He walked to the nearby lit fire and threw them in, followed by him yelling for the rest of my shoes to be thrown into the fire. I was so shocked. He turned and looked at me and ordered that he will honor our terms, but I was to return to my chamber and remain there until our wedding day. She felt her hand rubbing the shea butter into the heel of her left foot, bringing her back to reality. Akenyi returned the container of shea butter to the nightstand drawer, stood up and walked to the sofa, picking up the bowl of dirty water. She then moved to the double doors that led to her balcony. She walked outside and poured the water into a large pot containing a beautiful and very large pink hibiscus bush. Her balcony was very large and in the shape of a half circle with brown tile flooring. The railing, on the other hand, was made of gray concrete, and 2 huge concrete pillars were sitting on the opposite ends of the rail, full of pink hibiscus bushes. Sitting in the center of the balcony was a glass coffee table, and across from the coffee table was a white couch made of bamboo. The cushions were covered with bright green fabric. After emptying the bowl, Akenyi paused. Her balcony had the perfect view of the nearby gardens that were home to dozens of red and yellow flower beds. Each flower bed was divided by a white stone walkway, and at the end of the garden was a massive lake. In the distance, on the other side of the lake, Akenyi had a perfect view of the mountain that connected the cave she used to sneak in and out of the palace. Despite this breathtaking scenery, the sight of King Ofori's soldiers milling about the garden area took all of the joy from the view. As she stood looking at the vista, she noticed the guards below her balcony staring up at her. One of them said something, and they all started to laugh. Normally, she could care less what they thought, but for some reason, the sight of these invaders laughing at her caused a strange tension to build throughout her body. It quickly got so bad that, in frustration, she threw the porcelain bowl to the ground. As the bowl shattered into little pieces, tears began to flow down her face, not wanting the king's guards to notice she was crying. Akenyi rushed back into her room. Once inside, as she realized the source of her sadness came from a mixture of worry about her brother and knowing she would never be with Owusu again. Unable to stay still, Akenyi opened her balcony doors and began jogging around her room. Then jogging around the balcony back to her room, then back to the balcony until she was exhausted. She missed her daily training from the time she was a small girl. She had received the same military training that her brother received during her imprisonment. She often comforted herself with the fact that in a one-on-one fight with King Ofori, she could kick his ass. However, this time she felt no ease. She jogged to the desk in the right corner of the room. The top of the desk was empty except for a container of ink and a quill. A cushion covered with the same blue fabric that covered her sofa lay on the seat of a straight-back wooden chair that stood in front of her desk. Akenyi wasn't interested in writing. She got on her knees and opened a secret compartment in the floor under the desk. When she opened the compartment, it revealed a golden ball the size of a soccer ball. She wondered if it was pure gold due to its weight. Carefully, she removed the golden ball, rolling it from its hiding spot. The ball was beautiful, and its smooth surface sparkled in the light. Her grandmother had given her the ball many years earlier. Akenyi did not know why, nor did she understand the cryptic message her grandmother delivered to her when she gave her the ball. She had told her to keep the golden ball hidden and keep it secret. For as long as she does, their family will rule over Nweo. Akenyi rolled the ball around for a while, staring at it. She enjoyed rubbing her hands across the smooth surface, wondering why the ball gave her family some mysterious power. Whatever it was, it did not seem to be working at the moment. She was being held prisoner in her room, soon to be forced into a marriage with a man who'd betrayed and murdered her father. Akenyi had no idea whether her younger brother was alive or dead. The princess rolled the ball around for a few more minutes before rolling it back into its hiding place. She sealed the opening, stood up, and closed the balcony doors. Then, lying down on her sofa, she closed her eyes. Her heart began to feel much lighter. There was magic in that golden ball. She just wished that she knew what it was. Akenyi opened her eyes and sat up as her door suddenly opened. She was relieved to see her friend Delu. Delu was at present masquerading as her lady's maid, but in fact she was a colonel in Nweo's army. Akenyi smiled and said, "Good morning, Delu." Delu replied, "Good morning, princess." Delu was a lovely woman in her early 20s, slightly taller than Akenyi. Her skin color always reminded Akenyi of chocolate icing. Her black hair, styled with a pixie twist, framed her oval face, complemented her glittering hazelnut eyes. She wore her signature red lipstick. Her thin frame was covered with an ill-fitting yellow dress, too big in the waist, carrying a small tray that held a green teapot and a single pink teacup. She walked toward a small wooden table surrounded by 4 chairs in the center of the room. Akenyi walked to the table and sat down. Looking at the tea set, she commented, "I've never seen this particular tea set before. Is it new?" "No, princess. This is one of the tea sets that the servants use. There was trouble last night. A group of King Ofori's men destroyed a good portion of the kitchen and almost all of the equipment." "Oh no. Was anyone hurt? Were they drunk?" "Only the cook was in the kitchen. Is Zumba all right?" "Yes, thankfully. He was in the pantry collecting the ingredients for making bread when he heard the guards coming into the kitchen. When he heard all the noise and wanted to avoid trouble, Zumba decided to find a safe place in the pantry to hide." "How did they not find him in the pantry?" "According to him, for some reason, they completely ignored the pantry anyway. The strangest part of the story is that Zumba swore that they weren't drunk. He heard one of the guards complaining about having to destroy the kitchen of all the rooms in the palace." Delu poured her a cup of tea as Akenyi thought, "This information is perplexing." She decided to worry about the situation later. Taking a drink from her cup, Akenyi loudly proclaimed, "Oh!" She gazed into the cup. "What in devil's name is this gray stuff you are giving me? It tastes like poison." Delu replied, "That bad, huh?" "Yes. I was hoping you wouldn't notice. The doctor came up with it. It's an appetite stimulant. Everyone has gotten very concerned that you are not eating and that you have lost so much weight. We understand how hard it is to be confined to this room, along with all the other stressors you are facing. But remember, your subjects are counting on you, not to mention practically the whole kingdom knows it is because of you. The capital, along with the rest of the country, hasn't been destroyed. So please, princess, drink what is in the cup." Akenye's eyes filled with tears. She had forgotten the thousands of people who needed her to remain healthy and strong. Yes, she had stayed behind and offered herself on a silver platter to King Ofori to save her subjects. She then held up the cup and drank every drop of the awful concoction. Frowning, she asked Delu, "That shit was horrible. Are you sure it wasn't poison?" "The doctor tested it on several people before you got it." Delu continued, "Since you haven't brought it up, I'm guessing that your meeting with Owusu did not go well." "It went fine, but he has not received any news about my brother." In a sad voice, Delu replied, meaning he hasn't heard whether or not my husband is okay either. Delu's comment hit the princess in the face like a brick. How could I forget Delu's husband is one of the generals who helped my brother escape? She said, "Delu, I'm sorry. I know you have been worried about him since he left." "It's all right, princess. Just like your brother, my husband begged me to leave with them, but my stubborn ass could not bring myself to leave." "Don't be hard on yourself for that." "I'm not. If anything, I'm going to criticize the usurper. If we did not already know he likes to kill over half the population of any kingdom he conquers, we would have left with the others." "You're right about that. But despite me telling him he cannot hold Nwea without me, I have a strange feeling there is another reason he wants me as his wife." Smiling, Delu asserted, "Princess, the answer to that is obvious. The penis wants what the penis wants. So don't trouble your mind with semantics." They both laughed. Akenye said, "You're probably right. And speaking of details, Owusu received news from that old traitor. Let me guess, he said he would think about joining you if he does not get a better offer." "How did you know that?" "The old fool thinks he is untouchable because when he betrayed your family, he was able to amass a small army of followers. But I would not worry about him. If he does not side with you, he is pretty much setting himself up to be killed. Also, have you seen those two jackasses who check to see if you are Still in your room? No, I haven't. But I don't think it is anything to worry about. I hope so. But if they do not show up at all, I'm going to have to look into it. Akenyi replied, a good idea. If you discover anything abnormal, have Owusu look into it as well. So, tell me, did you and Owusu enjoy yourselves on the beach? There must be a crater in the sand. 2 months without sex? Wow. I know when I get my husband back, we'll break a few beds to make up for all this time apart. I ended things with Owusu. You forget that I am now engaged to the king. Delu looked down at Akenyi with shock. Disappointment filled her face. Don't look at me that way. Your Highness, what you are saying is a load of hot bullshit. Owusu is the one person in this world who would do anything for you. He loves you, and he has put himself in danger more than once to protect and help you. As for the king, what a joke. We both know that you would as soon slit his throat as to say good morning to him. Why would you do such a thing? And don't give me any more of that I'm engaged to the king business. Akenyi looked Delu in the eyes. I love Owusu, but don't forget, the king killed my father in cold blood. If he finds out about my relationship with Owusu, what do you think will happen? I know Owusu will be killed. We both know it, so don't chastise me for trying to save the life of the man I love, even if things go our way, and my brother and cousin gather our allies, and the king is defeated. After he assumes the throne, Tuma will choose a husband for me. Owusu will never be acceptable no matter how heroic he has been during this war. So it was the inevitable that made you decide to end it. Yes, I figured since we have not seen each other in months, it would be the best time to free him. You let go of him, but did he let go of you?
And that, my lovelies, was Chapter 4 of Curse of the Frog Prince, Part 1. If you want to hear more of this story and find out what happens to the princess next, I suggest you grab a copy. Curse of the Frog Prince Part 1 is currently available on Amazon in both ebook and paperback. And also be on the lookout for Curse of the Frog Prince Part 2, coming July 21st to the Amazon platform. Now, my lovelies, if you've made it to this part of the video, I would like to say thank you. And please, give this video a like, leave me a comment, and if you have not yet, slap the subscribe button like it owes your money. And don't forget to give that little notification bell a ring. And with that, my lovelies, this video is